In today's video, we're going to be talking about Tencent, one of the world's largest games publishing company, and how the US government seems to be labeling them now as a Chinese military company. Now, for those of you who may have never heard of Tencent before, they are a games publishing company out of China. However, they do own / have very high stakes in a lot of other games developing companies across the world. Just some example of some companies that they own / have stakes in are Riot Games, which apparently they own completely now, Epic Games, which they have about a 30% stake in, which is incredibly high, Grinding Gear Games, who just launched into early access Path of Exile 2, which apparently they wholly own now, Ubisoft, which they have about a 10% stake in, and a whole bunch of other studios like From Software, Bloober Team, Kadokawa Corporations, Remedy, and the list goes on and on. So yes, Tencent has a very broad reach across the world when it comes to their games and the studios that they own / partner with. So this story starts around January 6th when Bloomberg had posted an article basically stating that Tencent shares were already seen to start falling after it was discovered that the US had added them to the Chinese military blacklist that they have, which is a list that contains about 134 other companies. Now, being in this list doesn't automatically mean that you are not allowed to do business with the companies. However, it does put tremendous pressure on a lot of different entities to basically avoid it or else potentially face certain consequences. Now, Tencent on their part states that this must have been an absolute mistake because there's no reason why they would be on this list, especially considering that this list has been around, I believe, since 2020 and is usually updated every year. So for them to be suddenly added to it, they think it's a little strange. Now, it's not the first time that a company has been added to the list by accident. Apparently, Xiaomi, the well-known Android phone maker out of China, was also added to the list about a year or two ago by accident and was taken off. Now, as was hinted by the Bloomberg article, Tencent is already feeling the effects of the fact that they're on this blacklist, due to the fact that their shares had dropped about 7.3% in one day, which actually cost them billions. And due to the effects that Tencent's already seen, they had put out a statement basically stating that 1, they're not a Chinese military company, and 2, if the US Department of Defense doesn't correct the mistake that they believe they made, they will be pushing to sue. But of course, when it comes to the gaming side, as of right now, I would say there's nothing for us to be concerned about because I doubt it's going to affect any of the games that are currently being worked on by the studios that they own or partner with. But this is still a developing story, so we're going to keep our eyes on it and see how things change down the road. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the fact that Tencent, one of the world's largest gaming companies, has now been labeled as a Chinese military company by the US government. Do you think this was a mistake, or do you think that this was actually intentionally done on their part?